The sterilizing ions achieved the world's first air purification that uses floating plasma cluster ion technology. September 2000 saw a demonstration of the removal of airborne fungus. In 2002, deactivation of the influenza virus was demonstrated, gaining worldwide acclaim. A year later, we succeeded in demonstrating a new effect, the deactivation of airborne allergens. This is a dust mite. Dust mites live in great numbers in residential buildings, and depending on conditions, up to 2,000 live per square meter of carpet. The dead bodies and droppings of dust mites are allergens, which are a cause of allergic reactions. Droppings in particular are excreted in large amounts, and when they dry out, form dust particles as small as 1 micron in size, similar to bacteria. When people move around or make their beds, these are stirred up into the air of the room and are breathed into the body. Our skin and mucous membranes in our airways contain cells known as mast cells, and people who are susceptible to allergens have many antibodies that combine with these allergens on the surface of the mast cells. If the allergens that have entered the body combine with these antibodies, then the mast cells are activated and they release granules. These contain a large amount of stimulants such as histamine, which lead to sneezing, a runny nose, bronchial asthma, and atopic dermatitis. Plasma cluster ions deactivate these allergens in the air. The positive and negative ions that are emitted by the plasma cluster ion generating device surround the allergens and turn into OH radicals, which remove hydrogen from the antibody binding sites of the allergens, thus deactivating them. Even if the deactivated allergens enter the body, they're unable to bind with the antibodies, and the stimulants that cause allergies are not released by the mast cells. We asked the Graduate School of Advanced Sciences of Matter, Hiroshima University, to carry out experiments into the effectiveness of this method. This was a basic experiment in which a solution containing allergens was dispersed in a wind tunnel, and plasma cluster ions were used to deactivate those allergens. Furthermore, to simulate actual conditions as much as possible, dust particles comprising dust mite droppings were blown into the box on a regular basis and plasma cluster ions emitted. The dust that settled was collected and the results checked. At left is the allergen solution, collected after plasma cluster ions were released. At right is the same allergen solution where no ions were released. Mast cells were removed from a rat that had been made susceptible to allergens over a period of several weeks. These were added to the two solutions and the reactions observed. The change is shown on the right of the screen. Mast cells after the addition of allergen solution without plasma cluster ions. Let's look at this again, this time enlarged. These are granules which have been ejected, and those that contain stimulants may cause allergies. Now, what about the mast cells with allergen solution that had been subjected to plasma cluster ions? No granules are ejected, and the mast cells are as normal. This demonstrates that the plasma cluster ions have deactivated the allergens. The test data showed that the deactivation ratio of airborne allergens through the use of plasma cluster ions was 91%, with a concentration of 10,000 ions, and 74% with 3,000 ions. It was confirmed that in tests for serum antibodies in allergy patients, there was a reduction in reactions. Currently, it is estimated that worldwide, 400 million people suffer from some form of allergies. These innovative plasma cluster ions play an important new role in reducing not only fungus and viruses, but also the suffering of people with asthma and atopic dermatitis.